of I wouldn't say computer games, but Football Manager specifically, and it probably was a bit of escapism. So maybe it was something about my world that I wasn't really quite happy to deal with face to face. But yeah.
Fair enough. Anyway, that's a bit too much psychotherapy and too deep and shit. If you're watching this, guys, you've missed like 10-15 minutes of us chatting shit about all sorts. If you're listening, then you heard it all. So yeah, welcome to Beats Rhymes Live podcast. I'm Ash.
I'm Shakira.
The one and only Riz.
And I'm Louise.
We have a guest, guys. Would you give yourself a more formal introduction?
Well, my name's Louise Payne. I'm an indie author. I've just published my 10th book and I'm about to launch it at the end of the month.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, you said your 10th book, yeah? Like, how long have you been writing for specifically?
Well, I started writing in 2008. I think I published my first book in 2009. I was signed to a publishing company when I published my first book. It was a company in LA. It really didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
Being so far, I wanted to have a bit more control over my own creativity. And also, like, I wanted to do book launches. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to meet my readers. So having a publishing company in the LA and living in the UK didn't really work out for me. I decided to start my own publishing company in 2013, where I was able to sign other authors and, have the whole company as a marketing tool for me. So each author will promote everybody else's book that's under the company. So, I mean, it's been working out really well for me so far. I'm about to publish my 10th book. I've just changed my genre from urban fiction to contemporary fiction.
Okay.
Because as we were just talking about, your downtime, everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
For me, my downtime is that I work 40 hours a week. When I come home, I need that quiet, that hour just for myself to just come down off work. Personally, I watch ratchet TV. Like I'll do the Love and Hip Hop, the Being Mary Jane. Like, do you know what I mean?
Like, watch any of these things,
babe. I like the drama. Do you know what I mean? And I like the fact that it's not my drama as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I will be fixated on it, like from the beginning of Love and Hip Hop until it's over, and it's like, whew. Yeah, I like that. And that was like urban fiction to me. Yeah. Those are the type of books that I was writing. But I feel like the last 3 years, I've grown. Do you know what I mean? The world has grown, and I kind of found myself a bit desensitized to a lot of things that was happening in the world. So that's what my final book is about.
Okay.
When you say final book, I hope this isn't like it for you, or...
No, it isn't. I do want to continue writing, but I feel like I want to elevate what I'm doing, and I want to go into like production. Like my next project will be a web series. I want to start turning my books into manuscripts. Do you know what I mean? And start doing some filming, because I enjoy writing, but my market is growing and it's changing.
Yeah.
I don't just want to appeal to my demographic. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I want everybody to find something that they like in my work, and the only way I can do that is if I put it on the screen, really. So
we kind of have a similar thing here, because even with podcasts are technically, you're meant to listen to a podcast, but you find that you can reach a much wider demographic if you do have the visuals side of things. So I understand what you mean in terms of obviously turning, whether it be a screenplay, web series, that's obviously something that can obviously help diversify your audience.
In the words of Jizza, diversify your buns.
Diversify these buns, look. Just another, because obviously, like, I've known Louise for quite some time. Going back, obviously, I remember reading your, Quentin's book.
Yeah.
That was the first one that I read, and obviously you kind of helped out with the process. How was it like initially? How did you kind of like, because what happens is obviously with someone that writes a book, in it normally they tell their story. How did you, obviously you said you write fiction books, like was it something that you decided early on that you was gonna like separate yourself by writing fiction, or you just maybe not necessarily wanted to tell your story in that way? Or was it something that obviously being able to help someone else tell their story, you didn't really kind of want to go down that route? What was the process in terms of that?
Well, genuinely, all my books have a piece of me in it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so my friends and my family, you would read my book and think, oh, that character's a little bit like you. Each character has a little bit of me or my friends or people around me in it. So for me, writing that book with Gwenton was kind of easy. He had a story to tell, but because I wrote urban fiction, he wanted to tell his story to appeal to that demographic. So I took his story, which we spent a lot of time going through, like months going through, because it's someone's life story, isn't it? And you want to find a pinnacle part to start, and then you want to end it with the reader gaining some knowledge and coming away and saying, I actually learned something reading this book. Do you know what I mean? So it took us a couple of months for him to get that story out. And then I transformed it into an urban fiction story, because he's an outreach worker. He works with young children, you know, and he rehabilitates them from the streets to, you know, working and having their own homes. So the whole purpose of his book was to educate people who may be going down that same path or living those same experiences that he went through. But he wanted to appeal to those people. He wasn't writing the book for adults. Do you know what I mean? He was more writing the book for the children and their parents, do you know what I mean? And other guys that came from his background, but he wanted to tell the story in a language that they can understand. And that's how I was writing at the time. So yeah, it was kind of simple for me, you know, because really I just put a bit of gangster on it. That's the only way for me to explain it. I just put a bit of gangster in it, do you get me? I made, like, you know, there's some sex scenes in there, innit, that he didn't just want to say, yeah, and then I had sex with that girl. No, he wanted to explain it, explain what he did. Do you know what I mean? So that's basically what I did on that story. It's his story. I just made it come to life.
Okay. Any questions, guys?
I'm trying to think. Because, you know, I actually read through your site yesterday beforehand, just trying to get an idea of, like, what it was. In fact, no, I do have one question. You said you've moved from urban fiction to contemporary fiction. Yeah. How would you say that shift went, and what specifically is in that change? Because you've just mentioned that you kind of gangstered up the first work that you helped write. So how has that shifted now into contemporary fiction?
Well, I say contemporary fiction is taking the gangster off. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
no more gangster.
Yeah, not completely, but like my thought process has grown. I've matured. Do you know what I mean? Like, I started writing when I was like early 20s. Now I'm in my 30s and I have children. Do you know what I'm saying? Education is really important to me. I feel like now, if you read my work, I don't want you to just to read it because it's drama and it's exciting and you got your little bit of sex in there and there's beef, and I want to write something realistic that you're reading it because you can say, oh, I've related to this before, and I can relate to this, or I know a friend that's going through this, or it's teaching you something. And I feel like it's growth. That's what it is. I don't want to, like, I watch Love and Hip Hop, as we said. Not every woman behaves like that. Do you know what I mean? That is a facade that's kind of put on a certain urban community, like, we're wild, we're ratchet. And, you know, let's be honest, like, I don't live in America, I live in the UK. I don't want to keep writing books about people selling drugs, having little shootouts and drive-bys and ratchet girls and hood relationships, because that's not how I live my life. There may have been a time in my life where you know what I mean, like, where there's a time in your life as a girl where you want that bad boy. Do you know what I mean? And with it comes those consequences, don't you? You make silly little mistakes in your life, you might get in trouble with the law, you know, all those kind of things. But I've grown now, I have responsibilities, and that's what I want my work to convey, responsibilities and growth.
Okay.
So do you feel like your book and your reading through your books from start to now, we can see the growth in you then?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
the way that you've transitioned?
I definitely feel you can, because you can definitely see the growth in my characters.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That they are grown people, they have responsibilities, they're more educated, and I'm starting to put my characters in a better light. Whereas before they were in the hood. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But now they're in a better light. You
want to show something
basically different. They're people like us, people that you can relate to. Do you know what I mean? They're self-employed, or they're working, they're raising their children. So yeah, you can definitely see my growth.
In particular, I remember Spin Cycle being one of, like, the series that kind of gravitated, like, a lot of people from, I would say, my age group, in terms of the characters in Spin Cycle were young, mid-20s. Yeah. Obviously from a certain background. in Black Card, the Black Card, which is obviously your 10th book, how would you say, again, you said it was more of a transition to contemporary, what stylistically changes? In obviously the characters obviously have to change, but in terms of, you said you took the gangster or so, for instance, when you're publishing a book, what type of things do you have to be aware of in terms of like the marketing side, in terms of obviously the book content is the book content, but is there a different approach in regards to how you would market the book and obviously the places that you want the book placed in? Or is that obviously, because you said you have your own publishing company, how do you like go around?
Well, like I'd say this, my Spin Cycle series, there's 4 books in the series. Even when you look at the covers, you can see it's very bubblegummy. You know what I mean? When you look at it, it's very colourful and vibrant, and it's seductive as well. I've kind of taken that seduction away from my work at the moment because, for instance, like you get an album, you get a hip-hop album, and you look at the cover, it looks hip-hop. Think of Snoop Dogg's album back in the day. Do you know what I mean? You got that kind of hip-hop vibe, and that's what my books were before. It was kind of like a hip-hoppy R&B kind of vibe in literature. Now when it's changed to more contemporary, before I was marketing to an urban community, and when I say urban, it was more like
It's your community.
Yeah,
It's your
I know.
community. It was your people.
My community.
You
do you get me? And I would say like it was people in the hood. Did you get me? It was people that I grew up around. You know, you have different postcodes and different. That's what my first books really were about. The different postcodes, the beefs that was going on in my community.
But you're far removed from that now, so you can't relate as much to
I cannot relate to it anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm a working person. I'm part self-employed, so I have my own little struggle that I've realised through networking. Other people can identify with. Do you know what I mean?
You want to tell that story instead.
Those are the stories that I want to tell now. So even when it comes to marketing, I am marketing differently because you start to think more business minded when you market. Even with the text that you use, it becomes different. The pictures and the images that you use, that you put up, it's different now. Do you know what I mean?
Because you've changed as a person, obviously.
Exactly. Like this cover of my book now, it's more contemporary. Do you know what I mean?
If you see the other covers, this bare bright colours.
I was looking through your website.
I was like, that's a shit.
Yeah, thank you. Like even that, I had to change my website. Before it was pink.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pink,
Things like that
fuchsia.
will make a difference. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I realised like, people ain't really checking for my website. Do you know what I mean? But I had like my ghetto ratchet people still checking for my website. Do you know what I mean? Because I had ratchet pictures up, even of myself. You know, the hand and the hair and the pouting and all those kind of pictures. Do you know what I mean? But I don't feel like that anymore.
That's not you.
Do you know what I mean? So now I've darked it down a bit. I've made it a bit more classy. Do you know what I mean? So that's basically what it's about. I feel like when it comes to your marketing, you get what you give, innit? And that's basically what I've been getting. I've switched my marketing up a bit. I've switched my images up a bit. I've made it more contemporary, and those are the readers that I'm getting now, more mature readers.
Yeah. So what would you say this book is about more now? Because you said you shifted it, that you want responsibility to be more of a theme in general. How would you say the story of this book goes?
I feel like
No, without giving away too much, obviously, we still want people to know.
Like the blurb of it.
I want to read it.
well, the whole vibe is different. Like my first books was more set it off, fast-paced action. Whereas this book is more, I would say, like, you know, girlfriends. It's more how can I say this book is basically about a relationship and a sisterhood of 4 friends. And they all have different career paths. One of them is a radio host personality, the other one is a public defender, then you have a news reporter, and then you have another character who is, she's a stylist, okay, but she wants to start her own company, you know, doing costume, well, basically performance wear. That's what she's starting, and she's really good at it, but she's in a place in her life where she can see her friends excelling in their careers, and she's kind of doubting herself because, you know, a lot of investment goes into your own business, or should she leave her job, and she doesn't have that support from her partner. So it's a story about a friendship between 4 friends and how they support each other, but it's also about what's going on in their lives individually, you know, and how each of them can relate to it. Like, I'll give you a small example. We have like I don't know if you guys, or you must notice that in the black community, there's a lot of colorism. Okay, so we have a biracial girl and a black woman, okay, or black girl, and they kind of hate on each other. They're in this little crew, but they hate on each other.
There's that
unbeknown for the same reasons, though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this biracial girl, she looks at this black woman and she thinks to herself, oh my God, you're beautiful. Yeah. Like, guys really like you. You got that dark chocolate skin. Like, you can rock all these different weaves and your personality's popping. Whereas you got this black skin girl and she's looking at this light skin woman like, oh my God, your hair's banging. Your eyes are beautiful. You have amazing features. Guys are always on you. Yeah. But they're hating each other over the same thing. Do you know what I mean? And they never actually had the time to address that and realize, well, like, we've actually gone our whole university life hating each other, nitpicking at each other, making each other look down, then lifting. Do you know what I mean? And then something happens in both of their lives that, you know, it's attached to all four of them, where they actually have to put that pettiness aside and they realize that they have more in common than they thought.
Do you know what? Yeah, just kind of, because I watched the first 10 minutes of Girls Trip and I cut it off.
I loved Girls Trip.
I watched it like 3 times.
I love that film.
I still watched it. I've heard it's good.
I love that film so much.
That shit off.
Why?
Do you know what it is, yeah? That
I have not met anybody that did not like that film.
Generally speaking, I'm here for jokes and banter and comedy in it, and like
that film is full of them.
Like, that's what I heard, but I just didn't find the first 10 minutes of it remotely funny. So
do you know what Girls Trip reminded me of? And I said it to my friends. It reminds me of Set It Off if they got away with the money. Like, that's the kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, if after Set It Off, if they live and they got away with the money and they thought, like, let's just blow it for that one weekend, that's what it would have been like.
Okay. Yeah. In terms of, obviously, you mentioned as well working with other authors. Like, how has that side of things changed? Because obviously this is a big project, and obviously putting a book out takes a lot of time. Are you still working closely with other authors?
At the moment, I am supporting other authors. I'm always down to support other indie authors or other creatives. I've taken a step back from my publishing company, whereas I'm only publishing my own work at the moment. I'm not publishing anybody else's because I feel like, you know, when you start a business, you have all this momentum. Do you know what I mean? You have all these objectives that you want to follow and these goals that you want to meet. But at the same time, you have to eat. You have to live. You got to pay your bills. Do you get me? And I'm a single parent. I have 3 children. So I have a job that I work 40 hours a week. Do you know what I mean? I can do for myself, because I always say, if you're going to work and giving them 8 hours and you're coming home and not giving yourself anything, you're really wasting your life. Do you get me? So, like, I've got the time to give to myself right now, but financially I can't invest in other people the way I was before. You know, when you first start your business, you get your business loan, you have that equity to invest in other people, and if I cannot invest in other people how I would myself, I'd rather leave it alone. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like, as in supporting, wherever my work takes me, I'm always happy to bring somebody along. Do you know what I mean? And the best way you can do that really is to collaborate with people, because I collaborate with a lot of freelancers. You know, I write stories. I can write my book. I'm great at that, and I've learned to be great at what you're great at. I'm rubbish at visual art, so I don't design my own book covers because that's not my thing. I'd rather pay somebody to professionally do it for me. Editing is not my thing. I'd rather pay someone to do it. And that's my way of collaborating with other freelancers like myself. They equally work, they have families, but, you know, we're just mixing the pot a bit and making that money go around, you know what I mean? So that's really what I've been doing.
Like, for instance, like, we've had conversations in terms of, so I have an understanding of who you are, but kind of like tell the people that are listening a bit more about yourself. So obviously we're from a musical, like, we've done it ourselves, innit? We've all sat here, and like, what are your kind of, like, obviously, I wouldn't say vices, but in your spare time, like, what do you kind of like to do to chill out, other than the hour where you're just watching Love and Hip Hop, of course?
You know what, I'm really addicted to watching interviews. I watch a lot of interviews, like, even, like, you know, podcasts, radio station interviews. I love to watch radio station interviews, especially about people who I feel like are living my dream. Do you know what I mean? Like, recently I've been watching a lot of Issa Rae. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to be an actor, but I feel like her whole writing journey and that whole awkward black girl journey, that's kind of me. And I love watching her interviews because I feel like one day I want to be in that position or in that crowd, that circle, and I want to know how she transformed from that awkward kind of personality into somebody who can publicly speak, someone who is confident, do you know what I mean, presenting her work to the world. So
projects,
I do a lot of that. I watch a lot of documentaries about history. Like, I love black history, I'm addicted to it, so I watch a lot of documentaries about that.
What have you been watching?
I like Hidden Colours, that's one of my favourites. I watch a lot of Dr. Sebi. I like her, I like the holistics and stuff like that. So
was, unfortunately.
I do watch a lot of that, and also I like to watch a lot of movies and stuff because I like the way movies are directed. Do you know what I mean? So, hungry?
I had a sandwich, but that shit, I don't know. I'll go on, bro.
That was like, scared. But and I'm old school as well. Like, I listen to a lot of R&B. Like, I'm the type of person, like, what song came out? That Rihanna tune, The Wild Thoughts, I remember when that song came out and my girl was like, that's gonna be a banger, and all I could think of was, no, that's Maria. Like,
it took me so long to actually let go.
I was even insulted because I'm the type of person, like, you stole the song and you tried to modernize it, but then I liked the song.
They sampled it. I was like, no, it's the same song.
I was honestly so mad. I was so mad. Like, and people were like, oh, it's better. I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight so many people.
As the weeks went on, I was like, yeah, this is my tune. I'm
it's a brainwashing.
But at the same time, I'm old school. Like, my playlist is full of old school R&B. Like, you might get the odd 2004, you know what I mean? But other than that, I just go back. And that's what I like to do. I like to sit and write. I listen to my music. I watch my little documentaries. And I spend a lot of time with my kids.
How long would you say it takes you to finish a book?
I think it depends what the content was. When I co-wrote that book with Gwen, and it took us like about 6 to 9 months to write because he already had his story. I wrote a book, The Mind of a Dangerous Woman. That took me 6 months to write because I was angry. Do you know what I mean? I think it depends.
When I saw that on your website, and I was like, reading that. Reading that. She wrote about me as well.
I had a breakup, and I was just like, I had a breakup, and sometimes I see a meme, and it gives me a whole idea for a story. And then when you're on the phone to like your bestie, and like I just run through the whole story to her, and she was like, that sounded wicked. And I was just on it. I was so angry, just tapping it out like, we're gonna kill, we're gonna murder one. Do you know what I mean? But this book actually took me 1.5 years to write.
Wow.
Okay. Is it because of the transition?
I feel like it was because of my transition, personally, because certain things happened in my life that I'd never experienced before. Like, I experienced the death of a close family member. I'd never experienced that before in depth. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, wow, this person is immediate family. Do you know what I mean? And it kind of tied into, as I was writing this book, I'd never experienced that, but there was death in my story. And I kind of channeled that energy to explain it in a way that readers can actually feel the emotion. So it took me a long time to write this book because I was emotionally invested in it. It wasn't just a story that I thought, I want to tell a story and I want people to hear it. I actually want people to feel this story the way I felt it when I was writing it. So it takes me a long time, babe. 1.5 years.
Like, obviously, like, writing a book is something that I one day aspire.
Me too.
You should.
Me too.
I think everybody should, to be honest.
What advice would you have for someone like myself who obviously kind of has an understanding of what it takes to write a book but just doesn't necessarily know where to start? So someone that's basically at the very beginning, what advice would you have for someone?
I would say draw out an outline of what you want your story to be about. What's really helped me is, like, I always do a chapter outline, right? So before you start your story, you have to think, what is the topic of your story? Okay, who is this story gonna benefit, right? Because you don't just want to say to somebody, buy my book, and they pay you money and they take it away. But what are they getting from it? Do you know what I mean? So you find that out, and then you think to yourself, the first chapter, the title of that first chapter, you're going to rub that out by the time you publish it. But the title of that first chapter it could even be a paragraph, that title, but it has to give you a little insight of what this chapter's about. Yeah. And before you start filling in the blanks, that's how you do your chapters. And before you know it, you'll have like 30 chapters.
Do you know what it is for me?
And you have a skeleton of a story.
Like, say for instance, like, I'm someone that can kind of like, I've always been able to put words on paper rather, like, this is why the podcast was a big thing for me, because like, I'm not someone that is like, I wouldn't say I haven't, like, any of my friends know that I can sit in a room and have a conversation. That's never been an issue. However, I would much prefer to, like, I feel I have a story to tell, but it's not something that I would like to verbalize. So it was always something that I would say I would be much more comfortable writing down. So anyone that follows me on Twitter, like, I get into my moments where I will tell a story, innit? But it's like, for me, but it's like picking so like I find
he doesn't even thread it, so it's always very
it's
hard to read.
So you find one tweet and you're like, wait a minute, your page, and then
you gotta go back down.
So it's like how I would tell a story about, like, because in a sense,
bounce from A to D to Z and back.
But that's how I would want to tell my story. Because even when
he tells all of his sub stories in between
the story,
that's not cohesive. I just like to highlight that.
If you're telling a story about yourself, remember that story doesn't have to end in one book. People are very complicated and we're very complex. Like, for me, everyone says to me, why haven't you done an autobiography? You should write your story. That's my issue. I cannot imagine filling one book with my story. Like, I feel like I would have to write a book and base that on my childhood, and not even my whole childhood.
Not your whole childhood.
Just like a point in my childhood, like a point that I could say, this really resonated with me. And then I would have to write another book about sexuality. Do you know, like, I cannot write a book and then put like, this guy I dated, then I worked, and then I dated this guy. No, I have to break it down. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I haven't. That's why I feel like, if you want to start writing your story,
I don't necessarily want to tell. Like, this is another issue as well, because, like, say for instance, Gwenton, like, I remember when Gwenton's book came out, obviously the word on road was a bit, like, I didn't read Gwenton's book when it came out. I read it like 2-3 years after. But the word on road was, my man's doing bare talking in there, innit? Like, he's talking a bit too much about a certain... Again, when you've lived certain things and you've experienced certain things, it's like, how much of the truth are you actually willing to put into
See,
the book? That's one of the things that I'm going to struggle with.
I resonate with you saying you put bits of yourself into different characters and different stories. And I think that that's more realistic for what I could do, because I couldn't
tell your story 100%.
There's certain things that should be told, but I can't tell them.
And that's me as well. There's certain things that I want to tell, but it can't come from me.
And this is
so it has to come from one of my characters. You know what I mean? But going back to what you said about Gwenton's story, I remember that time in my life. It was a scary time. Writing that story because of who he was. I had people threaten me. The day after we published the book, my house was robbed, and all they took was my laptop. Like, it was a serious thing, but I had to commend him, because there was a lot of bravery telling that story, because a lot of people from the roads, they thought, this book's gonna be snitching.
That was the word on roads.
That's what people was thinking. He's gonna tell about the postcode wars and this ends and that ends. But really, I think if you strip all that off of a person, you know, someone you saw on, you strip the criminal away from them, you know, you strip the whole fact that they're in a gang away from them, what you're left with is someone's child. Do you know what I mean? And the book was mainly about everything he had to deal with outside of his crew, outside of the lifestyle that he was living.
The things that people didn't know.
The things that people would have never known that this person that they either looked up to or hated to had actually gone through in their childhood. Do you know what I mean? So that's what's important about telling your story, because it strips all that away. Do you know what I mean? Like, people, they see you with your podcast, you get me, and they see you, you know, whipping it, driving your car everywhere, you get me, you know, like, they proper look at you and you think, like, you got it made. You get me? But they don't see the work that you've put behind that, and they don't actually see the struggles that you face that could have stopped.
Respect my struggle, nigga.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the truth though. You get labelled and people assume certain things. Like even recently, I had somebody ask me, like, you know, when somebody hasn't spoken to you for time, and then it's like, oh, how are you? Happy New Year. Yeah, I'm good. You? Oh yeah. You know, I got a few job interviews. Oh yeah. By the way, I'm starting a podcast. Do I do it?
Yeah.
What should I do? Do I record it here? Do I go to the studio? And I'm waiting like, yeah, I'm good. You? Yeah. Bare silence, and I just went, alright, cool. So what's up? So I just gone, alright, cool. Well, if I was you, this is what I would do. You can have starter kits, or you can do this. You know, we record in the studio. You know, what's your theme? Oh, I want to have like different. I want to have a different guest each episode. Alright, cool. So what's your direction? Oh, you know, it's going to be women of colour and talking about their experience. So I was like, cool, that's a good idea. Especially in the UK, there's not too much of that. There's a few about, but there's not tons of them. Alright, so where do you want to record? You're going to record in your house. You're going to record in the studio. You're going to need to edit it. You're going to need to think about branding, a logo. And it was like, oh, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah. It is.
And even for me, you see all that you gave away, you gave it away for free. Yeah. And this is what I feel like. People, you need to start valuing yourself, and then add tax, okay? Real talk, because listen, I'm a bit skeptical when people always come to me and say, how did you do this? Show me, let me. You see me, I'm the type of person, if I wanted to start a podcast, okay, I would come to you and say, let me intern for you for a little while. Whenever you're filming, let me come for like 2 hours, sit in the background. I'll get to know everyone's job. You get to learn the engineer's job, you get to learn the host's job, you get to learn the cameraman's job. Do you know what I mean? You get an aspect of what everybody does, and how it all gels together and makes this thing work. Because everybody, I know a lot of people nowadays, they are in love or infatuated with the idea of a position. You know, me, when I started my business, people were like, yeah, you're a CEO now. What?
I'm just starting up.
What? Do you know, or you're a founder. I haven't found nothing. You know, do you know what I mean? And people don't even understand the simple things that goes into getting your logo done. I'm an author. I'm not a designer. I don't know how to design logos. That's stressful. You got to pick the colour, the design, the font. It's a lot of work. But
there's
revisions
to do. You got to chop and change amendments. How much more are you going to charge? There's so much that goes into everything.
Okay, I like it, but will people like it? Will people
and then you notice that you start sending it to other people who's in your circle. Have a look at that for me. Before they give you the feedback, they're on some, oh yeah, because man was going to do that too, you know, I hate that. Or, you know, like I'll post a picture, this is my 10th book, and then I have guys like, you know, all girls just from like my old circles, like, say good look. What's good look? That's not supporting me. That's a good look, B. Because man was thinking of writing a book too.
Huh?
Where's the correlation?
Do you know what I mean? Like, just, you know, and that's what I feel like. People, instead of like trying to create your own stuff and that, like, people can really help each other. Because for your friend to ask you and you give all that information for free, better still he come work for you for a couple of weeks and he will get that information himself. And then when he starts his podcast, he'll be able to say, I worked for this podcast and that's where I got my experience
from. It's
the
approach. Different people have different approaches though. So like for that, after I sent all that, I didn't get a response. So I was like, okay, cool. It's not a thing. I'm not bothered, because stuff like that to me is that I feel like if you're going to do anything, you research it, whatever it may be. Of course. You're going to put an element of research into it. So to me, most of that was common sense. I knew most of that before we'd even really taken any steps to do this. So I was like, that's what you do. But now, having experienced it,
you know exactly where to go to, and what you can basically, like, I've had like a number of people approach me because obviously like starting a podcast, it's a big thing, and in terms of it's easy once you're rolling. See, like it kind of like we come in here naturally. We come in here, we don't really know what we're going to talk about. We ain't spoken to each other.
We used to be so prepared, and we had like a 2-page list of what we were going to talk about. And now it's just like,
I see you niggas on Saturday.
Like, I've been trying to change it around. The last couple episodes, I've put agendas in and stuff.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It depends.
It depends what happens. If there's stuff that's like worth talking about,
how busy your own weeks have been, because we've all got lives. and jobs.
That's what I like about you guys' podcasts, yeah. Your personalities, individual, are very prominent. Like your personality, you're Mr. Organised, yeah. He wants everything to flow, because he does come up with topics and objectives, yeah. You two are always busting jokes, yeah. And the thing is, I listen to you guys when I'm at my desk at work. I got my one headphone in so I can hear the work phone. Do you know what I mean? And I'm listening and I'm doing my work. Do you know what I mean? And when I hear you laughing, it's so contagious. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's infectious.
It is, because you start having
it's annoyingly contagious sometimes. You start laughing for no reason.
Because you're all working people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We're all working people. Do you know what I mean? You hear about you guys' weekend. You watch what you do on the weekend. You know how you feeling about this and that. And I'm listening to it and I can relate to it. And I'm busting up with you guys. Do you know what I mean? I don't always want to listen to a radio show or a podcast where people are forcing their views onto me. I want to listen to a bunch of people that I can relate to who are actually debating these
certain topics.
I
feel that's, sorry to cut you, like in terms of, I feel that there's a medium, obviously, because you have a conventional radio sit down interview. See, like this today, it's not, I wouldn't call it an interview, although we are having a discussion and we've asked you a lot of questions. There's a gap in the market where it's like, all right, cool. See, like Drink Champs. You can tell there's a personal relationship between Nori and all of these people that he brings on, and it's reflective in the stuff that they talk about. However, it's not really an interview, because an interview is not 3 hours long. It's like you're sitting down, jamming, having a catch up with the man. So I feel like now we're getting to see a lot more of that type of like media. Like it's becoming a new outlet, and obviously with the whole thing of live podcasts and like bringing audience in and inviting them into that space and that world, like it's definitely something that can be built upon as well. I know you've got a live book launch thingy happening. Quick plug on that as well.
Yep, I will be launching my debut novel, The Black Card, on the 26th of January at the Hackney Picture House in the Hackney Attic. Tickets are available on Eventbrite, or you can get them from my website at www.louisepayneuk.co.uk, or on my Instagram. You can click the link in my bio. My Instagram is at @louisepayneuk.
Cool. So what else will be taking place? Will you just be selling your book?
No, I'm not.
Buy my shit, nigga.
Well, I don't know if you guys have heard of Lounge Academics. Okay,
I follow them.
What they do is they have an event like the last Sunday of every month. It's usually at Hackney Picture House in the Attic, but they support a lot of creatives. Okay, so they're actually hosting my book launch for me. So what it'll be a panel of 4 people, we'll have a host, but we're going to discuss, we won't naturally just be talking about the book for the whole event. We're going to discuss certain topics related to the book. So it's kind of like a friendly environment, it's kind of sit down, there's a panel, we present some topics and the audience gets to get involved, and we share our experiences. I'm going to have some readings from the books. I will have some ladies read some excerpts, there'll be some giveaways, and at the end of the event we're going to have like a little celebration, because Lounge Academics is celebrating 2 years of them being active. So it's going to be a really good night, and I'm looking forward to networking with loads of people, because I'm big on networking. I big friend a lot on social media. Listen, one thing I've learned is it's not about what you know, it's who you know. 100%. And leaving that impression on people. Like I don't just beg friend on Twitter, I beg friend on Instagram, Facebook, like I beg friend everywhere. Like I'll go to your event and I'm shaking your hand, like you're gonna know me. You get me? I've met you, and then I follow you on Instagram, and every day I like your pictures.
People always shy away from begging friends, but sometimes it's really necessary.
No. I
talk to everyone.
I talk to everybody.
Because you talk to everyone.
I got to talk to everybody and network everybody and make sure that they remember you, because as I said, my goal, my next project will be to do a web series. Okay, I want to jump onto the YouTube, right? But like in this last year, just networking, supporting other people, going to their events, I've already found a stylist. Okay, I found a videographer. I found someone to help me write my script. I've already found someone who leases properties that's going to allow me to film in them. That's just from networking. Mainly I'm going to be doing collaborations. Like you're looking for scripts, I'm looking for a film production. Do you know what I mean? Like that filters out the cost in that aspect. We both give and we both gain. Okay, and anything else, but I could pay out of my own pocket. I need to buy a coat. Yeah, I can hustle for that. You get me?
Yeah.
And I say, yeah, that's what networking, that's what my event is basically going to be about, networking, because there's going to be so many creatives there. I tell people, come, bring your business cards and be prepared to network with other people and just have a good time in a friendly atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? Where you can discuss some topics, have a couple drinks and just get to know people.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, there's a bar, babe.
Would there be serving alcohol?
I know
there's a bar. But would they be serving alcohol?
Be serving alcohol. Okay. It's alright, don't worry. You can get your lips wet, don't worry.
Come and get lit.
Yeah. It's walking distance from my house too, so
babe, you don't have no excuse to come, you know. I already said networking, so I want my selfie. Yeah. Alright.
Wait to see if Shakira actually goes. She's put her foot in her mouth now. I'm round the corner, you know.
Hey, do you know what? I have no reason to not as well. Yeah. Like, Shakira, I'll be there. Oh, there she is.
Hey girl. So, just kind of like to kind of wrap up on this part of things. So Black Card. 26th
of January at the Hackney Picture House in the Hackney Attic. It starts 7 p.m. Okay, you can buy your tickets from Eventbrite or you can pay on the door. I really want everybody to come out
and
support me celebrating publishing my 10th book. Do you know what I mean? I want to get to know people. I want to start networking with people for my next project.
Talking of next projects, it's funny that you say that because there's one particular web series that I would like to make sure that everybody goes and watch.
Plug in, yeah. Cool.
What's that?
Brothers with No Game. I'm not sure if anyone's watched it.
I think you've mentioned it to me, but I haven't watched it.
They're not even necessarily short. They're actually quite lengthy, considering that a lot of the web series online right now are 10 minutes.
Yeah. How long though? I need to know
26
how long.
minutes.
How many seasons? How many episodes?
All right. Yeah, you got to make a actual commitment. It's like watching a new show.
I do make a commitment. Like I tell you one thing, I don't watch nothing on TV. Yeah.
All right. Think Money and Violence.
And
think Money and Violence.
That was my show.
It's a real commitment. Like in terms of Money and Violence, but from just a normal guy's background. So it's like it's kind of like your book, to be honest. It's four males from London, and it's kind of like it looks at each of their characters and how they interact with each other. Yeah. Relationships. It's very good. I recommend. Like their third season is dropping. Well, they keep dropping teasers every day, so I've been waiting for it for about 3 years for the third season. But they've done. It's not like they've just disappeared. They've put out other.
I was going to say 3 years.
No, they've put out other teasers. They've put out other web series in that time. So their network
so is this one just like hanging then?
Huh?
Is this one hanging, waiting for them to bring it back?
Yeah. It's like they announced that they was taking a break. Okay. I don't think it was initially meant to have been that long, but the third season has obviously been filmed and they're dropping teasers. But there was one about basically like in the build up to getting married and like looking at a male perspective of the nervous side. Then they've had one about like a relationship between a mum and her baby father, but they're no longer together, and how the daughter is affected by obviously the split, and obviously the mum now be getting married to someone else. There was another. They've had 3 like separate little short mini shows. The last one is actually kind of funny. It's really short. I posted the link in the group chat. I think it's basically like a barbershop.
Must have missed that one.
It's like a barbershop talk, so you literally like it's like 6 minutes long, and it's like just barbershop sittings, and they're just having a joke. But I think their at is B Brothers with No Game, but obviously BWNG. So if you search that on any social media, it should kind of take you where you need to go. So
I'll check it out at some point.
I'll binge that a bit. I'm not gonna lie, guys. You guys been a bit quiet in society these days. But
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not gonna lie. Like, life is good.
Like, is it just me? Like, but guys have been a bit quiet in society.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, I kind of put it down to like you lot have been so loud for so long. So, it kind of means that we kind of just naturally have. Like, I was having this discussion with my cousin. Shouts to Mr. Wiggle. Like in terms of, I find a lot of the time women get away with being so loud because as men naturally we're encouraged not to talk about certain things. So, say for instance, yeah, this men are trash narrative, yeah, like as guys, we can also say women are trash. First hand, I can say that women are just as trash as men are. However, if you're a guy and you're telling a story or there's a thread, you're looked at, this bitch nigga, man. Like, what? Like, it's not really something that men are encouraged to do. Yeah. But if men were to talk about some of the things that they've experienced and are experiencing, we can't talk. Like, that's what I'm saying. In terms of like, even with my book, yeah, like, there's certain things that have happened in my life that I know I just can't really share with like my friends or my close loved ones might know. Some of them might not. It's like I can't take this and put it in an open forum because it's like through fair, like it's not necessarily fair of what the reaction might be. I'm comfortable with my life and how my choices have kind of played out. In terms of, say for instance, yeah, like at an early age, you're exposed to certain things and how that might affect the people around you and how you interact with females and Like, as men, we're just encouraged to just leave certain elements of conversations at like
the strong silent type.
Yeah,
it's that whole.
And you know what? This is why I said guys have been quiet these days, and I actually sympathise with you because I got 2 sons, yeah, and I feel like men are very much as important. Well, their sanity is very much as important as women's, okay? Like, this is one of the pinnacle things, what you said about my book, The Black Card. There's a lot of things in my life that I want to say. I want people to know. Not because I want to be a victim or I want people to sympathise with me, yeah? Because sometimes you need to get it out. You need to know if other people are experiencing those same feelings, yeah? In this book, in writing this book, like you said certain things you may have experienced in life and you couldn't say it. That's just like me, yeah. I have 3 children. I've always worked. Do you get me? I'm a very responsible person. I'm very business minded as well. People say stuff to me like, yeah, you're a strong black woman. I'm starting to feel offended by that term. Yeah, I am, and this is basically what my book is about. Okay, that these women are supposed to be strong black women. Yeah, my mum was a strong black woman. Her mother was, and her mother was before her. So therefore, I'm supposed to feed my children, okay, take care of the household, work 1, 2, 3 jobs, okay, pay for school bills, all the bills in the household. I'm supposed to still make sure that my children are educated and I present them to the world
in a nice way,
and they're clean and they're clothes. I can't complain about it though, because I'm a strong woman. This is what I'm supposed to do. This whole narrative of strong black woman, that's basically what my book is about, It's like a burden, because I know people who are white and they have 3 kids and they're part self-employed and they're working really hard and they're stressed sometimes, and nobody bails them out. They're not strong white women. There isn't a term of endearment like that for them. They're just strong women. Just like me, I don't want to put the strong black back on my back. It's heavy. You get me? Like, sometimes I want people to be like, oh yeah, like you're doing a lot. Like, you want me to get that? Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's funny because me and Gabby were talking about this like a while back, and we said like that title, that strong black woman title, silences us a lot.
Yes.
Because you have to show that strength, and you're supposed to be strong all of the time.
You don't have to
actually,
be. I think
but you do, because there's stuff to be done. There's always stuff there's no time to sit down and you've just got to keep it moving. This has happened, but I've still got to get the kids ready. I've still got to do this. I've still got, like, there's no time then for your weakness.
And then people are watching you. Like, and it's important people are watching you, like your children. And then other women that are coming up after you, they are watching you. Do you get me?
There's no days off.
There isn't. Not even an hour. There's
like, for guys here, you guys have that, women mature faster than guys. That's a burden on women, because that means that you guys are allowed to make mistakes.
It's not general assumption.
It's the general assumption.
I don't think it's the case.
Do you know what it is? I don't think that is the case. But I also think that there's a thing where it's like men will be men, and men make mistakes, or people make mistakes, but we don't really have that. It's just sort of, you've got shit to do. Do it. Get it done.
And there's like a double standard. Like, for me, I work 40 hours, yeah, and then I do my self-employment, yeah, any partner I get, yeah, I've had several, okay, and they've all said to me, you work too much, all you care about is your job and your career. Like, imagine me as a woman saying that to a man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Me as a woman saying that, and then you'll have other women saying to her, you're lucky he's not just playing Xbox, he's got a job. Do you know what I mean? Like, but for me, but then imagine if I was just at home with the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, just claiming a bit of benefits, just sitting on like, all right, not sitting on your bum, because a lot of women, they make dinner, they clean, they do stuff, you know, they raise the children, but say I was just sitting at home, just wasting all the resources that I have. Do you know what I mean? People will still have something to say. So it's like I always have to be my best at my worst time. Do you know what I mean? And guys, the reason why I say guys have been silent is because I know guys go through the same thing. You get me? Like, my children have father, we're not in a relationship, but even though we're not together, I can still identify with the struggles that he's going through. You get me? Like, for instance, getting into a bit of trouble with the law. You want to change your life, but society doesn't look at your CRB as you're a shining member of society. You get me? It's hard. Do you know what I mean? For everybody. So I'm like, guys have been really silent these days.
Do you know what though? I was having a discussion on Blitter, and a lot of
Black Twitter, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's a separate app.
And what I what I discovered is that women are the reason that a lot of men are silent.
Oh yeah.
Because and like, I swear to God, I was so close to tears talking to these men about how they had confided in their significant others and had it thrown back in their faces during arguments and stuff like that. And I was mortified because of the person that I am. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm somebody who my friends, I'm the person that they come to talk about things. And the thought of ever using vulnerabilities and your past experiences and hurts against you because I'm mad, like, that physically makes me sick. I would rather die than ever, because I know, as somebody who, like, I struggle to open up to people, right? So as somebody who struggles like that, I know how hard it is to actually say certain words out loud and speak to somebody. So the thought of ever throwing those things back in someone's face, it's awful to me. And when I'm being told that this is just the normal thing, and where men actually think, oh, you don't talk to you, there's no point opening up to your woman, she's gonna throw it back in your face. I'm like, how are you living like that?
No,
like, how, like, there's a lot
of guys that
I can't explain
like
you know, when you said it's women that do it, I can agree with you. There's a lot of aspects where I feel like with us empowering ourselves, we are taking that power away from the men. I've noticed that a lot. You know, with all these rape allegations, like, it's hard not to talk about it, and for me it's hard. People will say to me, you're victim blaming. I don't care. That's the bottom line of it. I have sons, so I have to look at it on both levels, right? Now, God forbid my son works his ass off, and because he's sexy, women are attracted to him, he's attracted to other women, you find yourself in a setting where it's just all good looking people, and you've worked very hard, and he pays a compliment like, oh, your legs look amazing in that skirt, and then she says 20 years down the time, he paid me a dirty compliment, and he should lose his job and everything. There is no one on the other end to say, wait a minute, he said that to you, did you collect your paycheck at the end of the month? And did you come back the next month and collect your paycheck again? You wasn't that bothered. You understand?
Do you know what it is? Like, it's interesting you say that, because last night I watched the first Dave Chappelle of the latest Netflix special. So I watched the first one, The Bird Theory. Is it The Bird?
I haven't watched them yet.
The second one is called Equilibrium or something like that?
I watched them both, but I can't remember what they're called.
But the Equilibrium one, he touches on something like that. It's like, in society now, we've become very sensitive, and I don't want to make it seem like you shouldn't be able to speak.
But
of course. I think in terms, take away from allegations, but society now is hypersensitive.
In terms of, it kind of throws everything in the air, and it's like, all right, cool. We want to encourage people that are in situations where they might be taken advantage of, or they're not happy, or we want to encourage people to speak out. However, there needs to be some type of I wouldn't even say balance here, but like in terms of, say for instance, Usher is a prime example. We don't know whether or not Usher's had herpes or not. There's no way of actually really defining that, innit? However, like what we shouldn't do, like we have to, like we shouldn't give the platform to people to use in a bad way, in terms of like, if you've been in a situation where you've been abused or you're not really happy with like the way that someone's approached you, you should be able to speak up. And I would like women or men, because it's not just one way.
I want to talk about that after.
It's not just one way. You should be encouraged to speak out, and if it means that you have to kind of like be reprimanded or like jobs are being lost, it's no like there has to be a trigger for change at some point, innit? And for me, with the current trend of things, like 20 years down the line, people have now found the courage off the strength of someone else. So the more that begins to happen, but however, like as much as it's happening and every week there's somebody new being accused, like let's strip away all of the fact that in terms of, I want to get more down to the understanding of like, there needs to be a definitive, like not guidelines of what sexual abuse is or what, like in terms of in the workplace, for instance, like,
but like,
I feel a bit shackled here because I can't necessarily
and that's what I'm saying,
talk up the things the way I want to talk them up here.
It's but, like, you guys' power is not there anymore. You see how women nowadays, we can say what we feel and it's liberating.
Yeah, I've got a beard, innit?
Guys,
like,
you sort of
cool, I'm not the first dude with a beard, innit? Like, alright, cool. Oh, your beard, like, it looks shiny. Like, cool, innit? Like, that's fine. I'm not easily, like, offended. Like, cool, say what, like, but my thing is, innit, if that was reversed and then I was to ask you or make a compliment.
Yeah, but what would you say looks shiny? I'm confused because...
No, like, I don't generally oil my beard, innit? So one day I oiled my beard and my beard was shiny. So cool, I had to take... Thank you. Like, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, like she made me feel awkward or whatever. But if I was to make a comment related to how a female looks in the workplace, I have to be mindful of what I say, because I don't know how that's going to be perceived.
Okay, I think I know what you're trying to say.
I always need
but basically,
all the way around the houses.
Women now are being more forceful in their sexuality, which is a great thing. I love that. However, there is a double standard.
There is.
In that women have been now making remarks that are highly inappropriate to men.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's laughed off because they're women. Whereas if on the flip side, I mean the beard comment, but on the flip side, it wouldn't be. And I am understanding that's a dangerous place for us to get to, because women can also take advantage of men.
Of course.
And women have been taking advantage of men for as long as men have been taking advantage of women.
Oh yeah.
The difference is that men
like it sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of men like it, and then like,
men do like it sometimes, but also when they don't, there's no one for them to turn to.
Yeah.
There's no one, because you talk to your brother about it and it's just like, are you gay? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? What's wrong with you? Like, what, was she ugly? Like, what's the big deal? Do you get what I mean? You talk to your sister, you might get the same response. Do you get what I mean? It really depends. Like, it's very rare that you're going to get someone say, no, but that was wrong. You were harassed. That's a problem.
Can I kind of like, in terms of like for this year, like there was a comment on Twitter, and I want to isolate Twitter from the real world a lot. Like 2018,
show up,
2018, Twitter is not real life. It's not accurate reflection.
I feel you.
It's not an accurate reflection of what happens in the real world. So people will make comments here, and because they get 25 retweets, it validates what they say.
Yeah.
So there was a thing about basically a woman being approached after a certain hour at night.
Yeah.
Now, in 2018, as a guy, I have to be very aware of the narrative that is out there, innit? In terms of, if I see a girl that I like, whether it's daytime, nighttime, we're on the moon, Jupiter, wherever, I'm mindful, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, can I even really go and holler at a shorty? Like, if you know what I mean. Like, in terms of, like...
Oh, I know the one you're talking about now.
Am I actually allowed to talk to women in public, like, in certain settings?
This is how it was posed. It was like, you cannot... A tweet said, you cannot approach a woman after dark on the street because it's scary. That's what
I'm not gonna lie, innit? Like, call me naive or whatever, but in 2008, this was not something that I was actively thinking about.
Do you know what? Right. I'm not gonna say you can't approach women, but I'm not gonna lie, it is scary.
For guys, that's what I was saying about these allegations, yeah, like, people say chivalry dead, you know. Of course it's dead, yeah, because every time a man tries to do something for a woman, yeah, it's you're thirsty, you're doing like, think about it. Remember how it was back in the day, like, say the 50s, a woman will get out of the car, yeah, and this man will run to open the door, yeah. And now if a man, move your thirsty arms, man, move, I can get it myself.
Open my own door.
Do you know what I'm saying? More times, yeah, you get guys, you know, you want to take a woman out, and this is what I noticed as well, like, I kind of, the other day I was looking at my Instagram page, yeah, I see a couple of my friends, they went out, you get me, they had a great time, they dressed up all classy and everything, they went to a nice restaurant, but I was looking at this restaurant thinking, oh, that would be nice to go to with your partner, you get me. But a lot of girls nowadays, like, for the gram, they want to do everything, you get me, they want to experience everything by themselves, with their girlfriends.
No dates for 2018.
What expectations are you giving these guys now, do you get me, that are coming to you as a man, I want to take you out, like, yeah, I've been there before, yeah, I done that before, yeah, but, do you know what I mean, like, just take your time, like, you don't need to rush. Sometimes let a man be a man, you get me, let him open that door for you, even as a stranger, he's just being nice.
Yeah, I struggle with that, man.
We don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know. I think it's like, it's difficult because on one hand, like, I appreciate even like little things, like I appreciate a man going past, paying a compliment and keeping it moving. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think like that makes my day.
Like, not looking back, like, yeah, there's nothing to have a conversation. No,
it's just like, and I'm like, thank you. Like,
many bin men do that. Like, hello, beautiful lady. And just, okay.
And it's nice. It's nice. And I'm a friendly person anyway, so I talk to people. But I won't lie to you, because of my own experiences, if I'm walking late at night and somebody's walking behind me, I've got my backup. I don't even know who it is, but I can feel that there's someone there. That I get my backup already, because I've had experiences and I've been dragged down alleys and shit like that. So
this even is why I said if you wrote a book, it'd be wild.
Like, honestly, my friends have been telling me for years, write a book. From like when we were in school, write a book. Like, I've been through a lot of stuff, but it's like, on one hand, I want us to get back to a place where we can just be comfortable with one another and talk to one another. But then you don't know the difference between someone who's insidious and somebody who's just being...
That's my thing. I struggle with it. I struggle with it because I know my intentions are never to go down that route. So I don't understand how we're all, as men, being grouped as one.
You're not. It's just that there's no way for me to instantly know that you're not coming to cause me harm.
Even as a guy, I can understand the aspect of, if you were talking to somebody or you wanted to approach somebody after, where it would be like, oh no, why is this guy talking to me? Or, you know, it's like, if it's, let's just say, you know, for example, it's 1 o'clock in the morning in Mare Street or something, like, you're not going to want to talk to a random guy on the road. I get it, but the way because we're going off the basis of the tweet, was that you can't talk to a woman after dark. So it's like, okay, so if you can't talk to a woman after dark, does this mean you can only approach a female in the daytime at any time in your life? So that means if you're going out for a drink in the evening, it's dark at 8 o'clock. So does that mean you can't talk to a woman then? Do you know what I mean? There's things like that. So I know that's taking it to an extreme, but for the purposes of the conversation, there's an element where it's like, you know, you can understand why this can be intimidating at times.
My thing is with that, well, no, I look at it like this.
Actually, I'd get...
What's more creepy? Sorry to cut you, but I gotta get this. What's more creepy? Someone seeing you in a public setting, then finding you on social media and sliding in your DMs, or having the bravery to approach you in the moment. To me, going and looking, and do you know how many people are on
that thing should ever happen.
I don't think that people
should do that.
You will see someone out and then it's like,
message you.
Then they'll message you. Like, I'm like,
Just
to me, that's a clear personality flaw that shows that you have some element of like creep in you.
Yeah, I have a very big issue with that. That is
like, if you're not gonna make yourself known in my presence, then don't come and ever think you can reveal yourself in my DMs. Like, I saw you. What you were saying,
it's the setting, isn't it? Because if I was just walking down the street late at night, I could be coming from anywhere, holding my bag, and you're driving past in your car, and you wind the window down, and you try and holler at me, I might feel like, okay, that's inappropriate.
You're gonna feel
because I'm by myself and you're driving. Then I ain't turning my head to talk to nobody. Yeah. Cause can you say you're not even getting out the car?
I'm not getting out the car.
So basically, that already shows your intentions. I'm not that interested. I'm just trying to holler.
I'm just trying to holler.
But if I was out, like, say I was like in the lobby of a hotel or whatever, I was typing on my laptop, and it's after 9, and I'm just there, and a gentleman came over and he said, "Hi, excuse me, I'm gonna give you the time of day."
No, I can say that from the comfort of my my car also.
So I'm outside on the street in the cold with my coat and my bag, you really want to stop me. You can even see I'm walking fast because I want to go somewhere.
Excuse
and you're
me?
not coming out
Can
the
I
car.
get a minute of your time?
Are you even stopping the car?
No, of course I am. I'll park up.
So I have to bend down and talk to you.
I know it does. Someone said that to me once, and it was like, you don't have to bend down. You can keep walking.
If you was going about your business, and the girl was like, excuse me, come here for a minute, and you're just standing outside her car.
07708.
Nah, come on, man.
No, do you know what it is? Yeah, I've been in both scenarios, innit? So like, I didn't get it from that perspective until someone said to me, like, do you know how it looks as a woman bending, looking into a car? Yeah. Cool, I get it. However, from my perspective, am I getting out of my car and chasing you halfway down the road?
Don't chase, never chase.
No, but I'm saying, like, if I can't get you to, like, my initial thing is, like, I'm old school, innit? If I can't get you to break your stride, then, like, now I'm gonna have to do something, not outlandish, but I'm gonna have to do something in order for you to stop. If I can't get you to stop, then I'm sorry, I'll go about my day, you can go about yours. So my thing is, I'm not getting out of my car unless I get you to stop.
No,
like, if I get you to stop, then I'll get out.
Again, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like I said, I just want things to go back to kind of like some semblance of reality, being like everyone just a little.
Just not expectations.
Just not everyone
just
like
a bit of realism.
Over exaggerating certain things in it, and I'm not dismissing any parts because, like I said, there is people that don't know how to conduct themselves in it. But But let's just draw it.
Do you think they don't know how to conduct themselves, or they choose not to conduct themselves?
I think a lot of people don't.
I think they don't know because do you think they genuinely don't know?
Blurred so much now.
The things that people do, it has to be, you don't know that there's something wrong with this.
I think it's more than, I think it's more than the image.
I've said no, and you're still there walking next to me. I've got to walk past my house now.
But I think it's certain demographics, because I remember when I was pregnant with my last child, just walking down the road, a lot of Jamaican guys, I don't know, they're attracted to pregnant women. Yo, baby mother.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Let me give you another one.
Baby in the belly, and what are you, glowy? Are you be like? But there's a baby, like the baby in the belly says there's a man. Why are you hollering? Do you get me? I think it's certain demographics, isn't it? Because you guys wouldn't holler at a pregnant woman unless she's your woman. Do you know what I'm saying? But certain people would.
It's weird. I'm not gonna lie, man. I can't get
Sorry, Jamaican men, we love you though.
Yeah, we love you. We do.
Do you know what it is? Like I said, everybody just needs to kind of like relax, innit? Just
calm the fuck down, like in every aspect.
Yeah, man, because obviously it's gonna get to a point where everyone's so confused and everyone's minds are so warped that like no dates is a prime example of what
no dates 2018.
Like we're gonna keep pushing these narratives until
who said no dates?
Men are taking the stance of, if we're trash, then we're not taking you on no dates.
First of all, those niggas were never taking girls on dates in the first them men that are saying no dates were never dating anybody.
Yeah, they probably
nobody was ever dating them. First of all,
they were just coming over to the crib.
Right, that was never a thing. It was always come over. But the men who were taking women on dates are still going to take women on dates. The women who are getting taken on dates are still going to get taken on dates. Like, there are a lot of women who haven't been taken on dates in about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
That's the life.
And they're content with that.
Yeah.
And you know, one thing men do, you do play victim on social media, Twitter mainly, yeah. Because I see something the other day. I say you guys because I know you's all co-signed it, yeah. It was basically like women should get their man something for Valentine's Day. That the poem is not a gift, yeah.
It's not a gift.
The box ain't a gift. It's not enough, yeah. Like women expect a lot on Valentine's Day, and then they think that they should just show up and then put out.
I don't feel like
that's Valentine's Day.
A present is necessarily required, but the mere premise that, like,
I do all of this just to be rewarded with what I got last week.
Yeah, the premise of that.
There's new packaging today.
No, gift wrap it, put a bow in it. I don't care.
That's what I'm saying.
If you wrap the box up, it's a gift.
You're with to save that.
How it's gonna look afterwards is gonna be exactly the same as it was last
If I wrap
when
the
I'm
box
finished
up,
with
it is a gift. Don't ever tell me
Right,
that.
you know what? I blame the women because you see what these women nowadays, we give too much to guys. Like, you know what? Back in the day, yeah, I remember like when I was in secondary school. Obviously, I was in let's say college. Let's forget secondary school. I just say that.
Yeah.
When I was in college, yeah, like, you know, girls, like the way I grew up, they was like, you're a suckard, like, that's disgusting. But then as you get older, yeah, some women, they just feel like, yeah, like, but I don't remember. But some women, yeah, they just feel like, oh, like, you know, fellatio. I don't know how you speak on the podcast, so I say fellatio, yeah, is a part of the sex.
Numerous terms.
That's numerous terminology.
Yeah.
It's just a part of the sex, innit? Like eating arse, it's a part of the sex.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Let's throw a big pause. There's no.
But you know what?
Yes,
Like guys like eating arse nowadays.
Oh?
Do you get me? Like guys like eating bum, like especially guys with beards because it tickles. They like it. I'm not saying you do, but I'm just like
No.
beard tickles.
No and no.
So like when it comes to Valentine's Day, yeah, like.
So
Because we've given all
so
the
if I
tricks on
decide,
every day,
say for
yeah?
instance, yeah, I'm a guy, yeah, and like I don't get you a gift on Valentine's, but I do something extra extraordinary in the bedroom. Is that an acceptable like gift?
What's the extra extraordinary?
Yeah, you have to start.
Let's not talk about me because I'm not gonna lie. Me putting my leg up is extraordinary.
I'm trying to work out where the legs go.
Like, how far up? Like,
What's happening?
No, me putting my own leg up is extraordinary. No, I'm joking.
He's not.
He's actually not. That's the thing. He's not joking.
So he's basically like, if I bust a new position, yeah,
Yes.
my gift.
The rewards are extraordinary.
I give you another position next year.
But surely that, because if we're, like I said, if we're going on consistency, like you coming and showing me your Ann Summers, how long am I keeping that Ann Summers on for? Realistically,
Gone.
If you look good in it, cause it's good, it's missing, and it won't
but
it
guys
won't make
just
it out of the
saying,
minute.
oh.
That Ann Summers is getting ripped the fuck off.
What the fuck do you want then?
You guys be acting like we
but
just be
it's
giving
not
the
about
box.
wanting
Like,
something.
we're
It's the
creating
premise
a
that's the
moment.
No,
gift.
I don't care about the moment. The only moment I care about is the release. And I released last week. I can release by myself. How is this
You
meant
guys are
to
ungrateful. Let's take the gift back. They don't want the gift. Don't give it to
So
them.
do you know what? You get boxes and socks on
I
Valentine's.
don't mind that. That's cool.
You know what? No pussy Valentine's Day. There we go.
We don't care.
don't
about
care?
Valentine's.
See, women,
It's
we
just
don't
the
want to
premise
hear that. You
that
don't
vagina is the
care.
gift, but we don't care about Valentine's.
It can't be a gift if I've had it
If
before.
pussy is not a gift, guys, don't give it to them.
We don't
That's
care.
it. Don't give it to
Yeah,
them.
it's true. That's how you lot feel about it. Remember you
Take
said
it back,
yeah? Remember you
ungrateful
said that?
asses.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah. Like,
you said
we'll
back,
see how that goes a long time, innit? There's only gonna be one winner in that. I'm just saying. Love you,
Who,
boo.
my son?
It's alright, don't worry, women, we're good as well. We can make ourselves climax too, you know. It's nothing.
Oh, mate, that was actually kind of funny still.
We went left, but that was
How
fun.
did we get here?
We got about 10 minutes left, so it's time for the break segment of the show.
Ay.
Yeah, I got something for you.
Do you have anything to play, guys?
I think I do.
I got one. It's not like a proper like banger, but it's caught my attention this week. Not like I was gonna jack the shit I heard in your car last week, but I decided not to.
What was that?
The London Rebels track.
You always got the tunes and you ain't made
Oh, I
my
like
mixtape
that.
Sorry.
yet.
I've got a
got
playlist
CD.
pending on SoundCloud, man. Don't watch that. I got you guys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've got a list in my phone as well of threads I want to do on tour. I've got like a little 80s rare groove one. I've got like an old gems because I found my old iPod Nano. Now imagine I bought a fridge when I was like 16, 17.
Yeah, we was in college.
Yeah. Bare gems on it. There's about 1,200 songs on there, and probably out of that 1,200, there's probably like 100, 200 that I haven't heard since I last used that iPod, and just haven't got full stop.
Yeah, I did a clean up of one of my Macs the other day.
Yeah, when I get a proper desktop sorted, I'm gonna redo all my music. I've lost everything that's on my dad's computer, like 50, 60,000 songs, something like that. So.
Yeah, I had 170 gigs on one of mine, and then I got another computer somewhere with like bags of music.
I've lost so much music.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to do the
like I can't bear to think about how much music I've lost, to be honest.
The track I'm going for is Raekwon. It's called The Biz. He's literally dropped like 3 tracks in the last week, but this is one of them. It's literally short. I only play a minute anyway, but it's like a 2-minute track. It's a tough day.
Light this shit up, chef. Lyrics are boatload in China. Hold on, great mind. Hold on.
It's like vintage rain.
Let's go, chef. Watch the guard get ridiculous. Lyrics are boatload in China. White grade A slang blade is vicious. Chrome handler, dark archery, fictitious. Niggas get blown for their waistline. Come chase line style like an 89 mic place on the baseline. I'm gorgeous. FLY lives a swordsman. Clearing out your section. Hold the big clap as big as a newborn. Wanna know my flag? Don't chest them. Chillin', get your face slumped. All about cash and checks expanding. Buying more shit until my day come. Fucking with them chicks with a good brain that know their position. Never out of line and eager to listen. So
yeah, that's Ray. That's the bits. Love a bit of Raekwon.
Go on.
Alright.
I'm not sure where I'm going with today, guys.
I don't have a song. Do I need a song? I don't have one.
That's fine.
Oh, that's alright. I'll just enjoy you guys' songs.
That's fine.
I like Raekwon the chef though. Yeah, I do love a Wu-Tang. I named my
That's
son
really
Raekwon.
okay.
Yeah.
So
That's a cold name.
That's what I'm saying. It means invincible.
Yeah, man. Oh, are you trying to connect to it?
yeah,
Should we on?
make sure it's successful.
Oh man.
Yeah, on dip. Try again.
Yeah. So my song is by. No, it's not doing it. It's by
Should I
a
get
guy called Killa. He's some white guy from Dublin, yeah. And I just found him randomly, but I quite like this song.
Is it a new song?
Yeah,
I think it came out like early this year.
Okay.
No, early last year, I think.
boom. Done. Go to your app.
There we go. Yes. And it's called Like I Used to.
You know, I realised Shakira's like the Rory of the show, innit?
Bare acoustic stuff.
In the beginning it was all love. In the beginning it was all love. It was all good. In the beginning it was all us. The beginning it was all us. It was all trust. Oh. Now I'm bending over backwards just to try to make it work. Yeah, I'm bending over backwards just to try to make it work. Oh.
It's quite soulful, man.
Yeah, you trick me into love someone. Oh, you trick me into love
Reminds me of John
someone.
Legend.
That you
It's
want.
got a little John Legend flavour.
Oh, no, 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 no. Guess we took it too fast, too fast. Guess we took it too fast. What a shame. We've been sitting around too long, sitting around too long. Let's stop the game. Babe, I don't love you like I used to.
I like this.
Babe, I don't want you
That was very nice. I like that's going to be added to a playlist still. What was he called again?
Killa Yan.
Killa Yan.
Yeah, nice one.
I'm gonna play a song called Lyrics. London Rebels. They've produced a lot of stuff for the likes of Knox and a few other artists from London, obviously. Yeah, it's featuring a rapper, I believe, called Teks, Sinatra or something along those lines.
Teks Sinatra, I think it is, because there's a couple similar names, isn't it? Yeah.
But this song's called Lyrics. It's got a very nice vibe to it. Yeah. Come on, play for me.
Inspire all these lyrics. The reason why I'm writing all these lyrics. Anything you want, you know I'm with it. Man, I did this all for you. I hope you smile with every lyric, yeah. You know that you inspire all these lyrics. The reason why I'm writing all these lyrics. Anything you want, you know I'm with it. Man, I did this all for you. I hope you smile with every lyric, yeah. Thank you for love and thank you for patience. I promise you nothing except I will make it, just hold tight. The money's short, I grind the whole night on cold nights until that stack just doesn't fold right. It's me and you, and you're the reason for the favorite song. This music brought me love and you ain't like it, but you played along. You told me there's no secrets, there's no privacy. Them days are gone. I put it all in music and shit, I wouldn't say you're wrong. So here we go. I pray this pen just doesn't film.
Yeah, that's Lyrics by Teks Sinatra. The London Rebels project. Go make sure you go check that out. We'll put the links in the description. Yeah, this has been fun, guys. I've enjoyed today's episode.
Yeah, we were left a few times, but I had a lot.
It's fun. Thank you, Miss Louise Payne, for coming through.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So remember, guys, the book is available. Where will we find the book available?
You can get it on Amazon at the moment. It will be on Kindle after my book launch. At the moment, I've just got it on Amazon, but once I have my book launch, I'm going to release it everywhere. So it's going to be on every outlet, and I'm going to try my very hardest to get it into stores.
As well, what we might do is we've got a few copies here, so we might have a little game with you guys and give one of the books away on the Twitter, so look out for that as well. But yeah, thanks for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure. Guys, use the hashtag, please.
Every episode, use the hashtag. Use the hashtag.
Yeah, man, you lot ain't fucking with us the same no more, man. Like, we was used to getting like people coming and like discussing certain things with us on the hashtag, but that's kind of dropped off.
You're still listening, so we appreciate it. But say some shit to us.
Yeah, man, we want to
listening. We just forget the hashtag.
Yeah, man, beats, rhymes, life, pod, innit?
But yeah, peace, love, and pom-pom, guys.
Just peace from me.